Welcome to VLOGMAS, the podcast. My name is Winter and I'm your host, and this is episode 2. In today's episode, I want to talk about why marriage sort of frightens me. So, I've actually been asked to be married twice. I said no each time. And usually when I say this to people, especially in my age group, so I'm 24, so women around the ages of like 25 to 30 usually get really wide-eyed when they're like, what? Like, what? Because, I guess according to media and society, women around my age should be really aspiring for marriage, really looking forward to being married. And I'll admit, I definitely was. I was one of those little girls who looked forward to marriage. Marriage seemed exciting. I had examples of marriage and still have examples of really happy, healthy, loving marriages in my life. So I never really was given a reason to, not want to get married. My parents are not married, though, and my grandparents are actually divorced, but they got divorced well before I was born. So in my most immediate family, I only have about four examples of marriages, long-standing marriages, right? But again, I don't, really no reason not to want to be married. So the first time I was asked to be married, it was actually both times were in college. So, okay. Well, neither time were by people that I was really in serious committed relationships with. Well, one person we could say I was, but the other person not at all. But the reason I said no each time is because neither of those men were my husband. I knew that. I just knew that. Neither of those men were my husband. And upon further conversation with both of them at the time, so I'm talking about in real time, I asked these men, like, why do you want to get married? Not even why do you want to get married specifically to me, but why do you want to be married right now? It was always the idea of marriage, the images of marriage, especially the heavily commodified ones that they were seeking, that they were interested in, that they were desiring, that they believed we would have. And, when I was 22, when I was like 19, marriage to me looked like a lot of things. But one thing I was clear on was that marriage to me didn't look like what we're being sold marriage looks like. And I'm talking about beyond the whole, I desire a partnership, he needs to be my partner. I'm talking about even beyond that. And both of these men, great men, love them, hope they're happy. But both of these men were just really interested in, what marriage is supposed to look like. And weren't even beginning to do that work in the relationships that we already had. So I'm like, you feel that you're ready to get married and do all this heavy lifting and emotional work, yet we haven't even started to do it here. So why do you want to get married? And then I realized, people want to be taken care of. And we all want to be taken care of. Everybody wants to be taken care of. That's the word. Humans. We want to take care of each other. Humans want to take care of ourselves. People like to be taken care of, but I wasn't interested in taking care of anybody's son when I was 19. And definitely not when I was 22. And even now at 24, I'm not interested in taking care of somebody's son, especially if they're not taking care of me. And, in the first episode, I talked about how I've been abstaining from sex for 3 years. So to also make things more clear, this is my 3rd year. So 2021 is year 3. So 2022 begins the 4th year. So at the end of 2022, I will have completed 4 years of abstaining, making 2023 year 5. Just to clear up that timeline a little bit more, because I'm not sure if that came through in the first episode. So as someone who is dating in abstaining from sex. Dating looks really different for me. Not in a bad way, it's different. And a lot of people feel like they cannot create that emotional intimacy with someone until they have sex, which is complete and utter bullshit. But that's kind of one of the reasons why marriage is a little scary to me. It's a little frightening because it's like we see all these threads on Twitter and all these things where people just keep exposing themselves for not knowing their partner at all. Like, not at all. People date for years. Which, first of all, can we just get into that? I don't want to be dating anybody for 4 years. I'm not interested in it. Doesn't seem fun to me. I don't want to do it. I don't know. When I hear people have been boyfriend and girlfriend for 4 years, for 5 years, I'm kind of like, so what y'all waiting on? Like, what's happening here? Why you're not married? And then right now, that's a conflict of my own politics. Because here I am like, I don't really know if I want to get married at all. Marriage kind of scares me, blah, 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 blah. And then I'm also like, why aren't I married yet? But I think that's because, one, we've been all given a timeline, right? So we all feel like you should be married within a certain amount of time. But I also think that's because, especially like people in this age group, so like I'll say 20 to 30, right? We have really been going heavy on this, like, I don't care, I don't give a fuck, boop, 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 single for all my life type thing. And I don't want to be single for all my life. I desire long-term partnership. I don't know now if that looks like marriage for myself, but I do know that I desire long-term committed partnership. So as I kind of sit back and I reflect and I think about what it is that's kind of frightening me about marriage, it's that lack of knowing a person, right? Like, of course you can't know a person 100% because you're not them. So you're never going to know them 100%. And your partner has lived a life before they ever met you. They don't even remember all the things they've ever done or said. So like, there's no way for you to know them 100%. But it's just kind of like frightening to think that you could be dating someone, sharing something as deep as your body, as sacred and intimate as your body, and really truly not even know that person's favorite color, middle name, allergies, likes and dislikes, fundamental beliefs, foundational traits, habits, thoughts, and belief systems. You don't know them. And when I was asked to be married both times, I realized both times that's what was going through my head. I was like, you don't even know. You don't even know my middle name, my real likes and dislikes, my foundational belief systems. Like, you don't really know that stuff, yet you think you want to marry me. And I also think we lie to ourselves by saying that, oh, you can learn all those things in marriage, or, oh, our grandparents and great-grandparents got married after knowing each other for 10 days. That's cool. That's great. But those are exceptions to the rule. People don't normally do that. That's why it's not understood in society that after 10 days of getting to know a person, you marry them, right? Like, that's not the standard. That's not typically what's happening, which tells us that that's really not the trend of human nature. That's not what we do. We typically spend a little more time figuring out who this other stranger person is that I'm attracted to romantically and sexually. We take a little time. So in both of those instances of being asked to be married and realizing like, oh, these men don't know anything about it, but they want to get married, it really frightened me. And I've been kind of carrying that fear with me because it's like, dang, why were they so ready to get married and I wasn't? Because a part of me feels that it was deeper than just, oh, well, they don't really know me, I don't really know them, and but like, they had given thought to marriage. And although I was able to identify that, okay, well, they also just want to get taken care of, and I'm a very good caregiver, and I'm a nurturing person, me quoting them, So, of course, marriage seems, idea and attractive to them. Marriage to me, I was like, okay, like, I can get all of that. I can rationalize all of that. But, like, I don't understand, really, how you could feel prepared to share the rest of your life with me. Because I'm also someone who truly, truly, deeply believes that you get married once, which is, here's the thing. I'm not against divorce. Obviously, if I get married and I divorce my partner because it's not working anymore. Like, if I divorce my husband because we're not working anymore. But I don't want to. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to divorce my husband. So I would like to wait as long as possible when it comes to agreeing to marry a man until I really feel like, okay, I don't see myself divorcing you. And I also pray that nothing ever happens to where I ever want to divorce you. But I've still, even in recording this episode, I've still been trying to work out why was I just not even open to marriage? And it's interesting because men now that I date, right, when we have the conversation about my abstaining, they always want to ask, like, so are you waiting for marriage? Or, like, does that mean everything we can't do, blah, blah, blah. And that also scares me, too, because I'm like, I get that we're all humans and, like, naturally, for most of us, yes, when we are attracted to a person, okay, we're going to want to have sex with them. But it's like, oh my gosh, why is that so at the forefront of your mind? And then again, I'm like, okay, well, I have to extend grace because I've been abstaining for years. So my literal mind, my thought patterns are different. They're altered. I've reprogrammed myself, which is true. I've reprogrammed myself. I haven't engaged in casual sex in 3 years. So dating to me is different. How I even speak to men is different. How I carry myself is different in date. Like, it's all different. It's been a reprogramming. It's been a relearning and an unlearning. And so sex is so far at the back of my mind when I'm talking to a man that I'm attracted to. Like, I'm y'all, I know it sounds crazy, but I'm so serious. Like, it is so far at the back of my mind that sometimes I don't even pick up on sexual innuendos anymore. I don't even pick up on certain kind of like blurting because it's so far. Like, I'm not even thinking about that. I am thinking about my attraction to them romantically and physically. Like, I am thinking about it, but I'm not thinking about engaging in sex with them. Like, it takes me so long to get there now with the man that I'm dating. Like, it takes a while before I start to think about wanting to engage, not even having it. I'm thinking about developing the desire to want to engage in sex with them. You see you see the difference there? There's a huge difference between thinking about having sex with a person and thinking about developing the desire. Like, it takes me a long time to even start to think about, I'm going to start developing a desire to want to have sex with you because we have reached this point in our relationship. Oh, okay. We're there now. That's different. I don't mean that's different as like, oh, like, I'm different, she's different. I'm like, I mean, like, that's just different for me. I didn't used to be this person. Like, that's different for me. But that shift started to happen really kind of quickly when I started to abstain. And so, marriage scares me. Marriage frightens me. Marriage, because I so want to be understood. I want to be felt. I want to be seen. I want to be heard. I want to be acknowledged. I want to be recognized. I want to be respected, right, by my partner. And yeah, I think marriage is a mindset before it's an action. I'm not saying play house with nobody because we don't play house over here. But I think people move in marriage before they're married. And I just feel like both times when I was asked to be married, we were not moving in marriage. I'm still baffled to this day as to how they were so ready to want to be married. But I also, men would be taken care of with the patriarchy and yada, yada, yada. But what do y'all think? Like, how do y'all feel about marriage? Does marriage frighten you? Does the idea, just the thought of someone being like, yes, I want to spend my whole life with you, everything, kind of frighten you, or does it excite you? It frightens me. It frightens me a little bit. And not in a bad way, not in like a harmful fear. I guess an excited fear, but a fear nonetheless, because marriage is a responsibility. And it's not one to be taken lightly. And so that's why I didn't want to just jump into it at 19 and at 22. But I want to really hear y'all thoughts, for real. Like, really, how do y'all feel about marriage?